Okay, so I've been investing in real estate for 10 years. I've done almost every transaction that you can. I don't do like huge big projects. Okay. I'm not a big project person. All right. Because reason why is because like I'm a lifestyle driven investor. All right. The reason why we got into self-storage investing is I got pregnant. At that time that I got pregnant, I was doing 15 rehabs at the same time, and we had 15 rehabs in the pipeline. And I got pregnant, and then all of a sudden I started freaking out because, you know, when you're doing 1, 2, 3 rehabs, you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off. I was doing 15. So of course I was like almost giving myself a heart attack. And you know, I had, you know, GCs and everybody managing it, but I had to manage that company. I couldn't leave. I couldn't go anywhere. I was stuck there, you know, and then I had a baby. I was having this baby. I was like, well, now I'm going to be even more stuck, you know, because I got to stay home, take care of her, manage all these people. How am I going to do that, you know? So I told my husband, I was like, we're not buying any more rehabs. That's it. We're done. Like I just stopped. And I was like, but then I started freaking out, right? Like, just like I said, Heather, my student, is freaking out. I started freaking out because I didn't have, like, we had no, if we did not sell a house, we had no income. Like I had not ever thought about passive income. I was just like, check, like, let's just finish a deal, get a check, finish a deal, get a check. I didn't really plan it. I was just like all caught up in that whole scenario. And so then we stopped what we were doing, stopped buying houses. It took us a couple years to finish all those houses because I had a baby, and then I had to like take care of her, and you know, so we just slowly kind of did all that, and then like we just started focusing on exactly, Sheldon, passive income. So how can we make money, right? And you know, it's passive income, but it's more passive wealth. It's passive wealth, right? So, and that's what I love about self-storage is that you can make it completely hands off. You can be anywhere in the world and run your facilities. Like I said, we're completely virtual, we're completely passive, we're completely contact. It's called in the self-storage investing world, it's called contactless. Right? We're contactless, right? But we were contactless before it even became contactless. Like contactless just happened in the last year with COVID. Well, we had already been doing that, you know. Now, all the facilities that I buy, they are not contactless, right? You have to go down there, fill out a contract, and the owner has to, you know, unlock the door, unlock the gate, open the door, you know, do all this kind of stuff, right? Those are the kinds of facilities that I buy. So I don't go out and I don't buy huge, big facilities. I don't buy $2, $3, $4, $5 million facilities. Not yet. Maybe later. You know, I'm getting to the point now because we're buying our 10th facility right now. We're on number 10. And, you know, and you can check us out. If you don't believe me, you can check me out. Go to misslillians.com. All right, that's me. Some people are like, oh, I'm like, just go check us out. So number 9 is one that we're building. And number 10, we're going to close in the next couple of weeks. All right, so you'll see a number 9 pop up in about a month, and you'll see the 10th one come up after we build it. It just takes a little while. We're getting into the building phase now. We're starting to we're looking around to see if you're going to build, because building is like one of the best ways right now, because there's not enough storage facilities out there. There's just not, especially in the tertiary markets. Remember I talked about location, right? So today I wanted to talk about how to buy your storage facility, your first storage facility in the next 90 days. All right, that's the topic, right? So what I want to talk to you about is like figuring out where you're going to be looking, right? That's number 1, is like, where should I be looking at, right? Where's the market? For me personally, my personal opinion, right? And I am a little person, right? So I don't go out and buy huge, big money. Does anybody here want like huge, big facilities that are like, tell me amounts of money that you want to spend on the facility? Is it like 200,000, 500,000, a million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million? Like, what's the number, right? Tell me that. I keep sniffing, but I have allergies. I don't know, all of a sudden, like on Sunday, I just started getting allergies. But location is super important, okay? Now, you know, for your first one, right? You know, for any of them, right? But really for your first one, I always tell my students, like, within 2 hours of where you live, depending on where you live, right? So Right, you have the primary market, the secondary market, and the tertiary market. Right, here's the primary market. Here's the secondary market. Right, and here's the tertiary market. Okay. All right, so depending on how much money you have to spend, so if you want to spend $1 million or less, most likely you're going to be in the tertiary markets right now. Okay. Right, it's very hard to find $1 million property, or less in the secondary market. Now, there are possible, depending on where you live, right? So if you're in Arkansas, I saw somebody who was in Arkansas, right? Alabama, Arkansas, Mississippi, their secondary markets, you might be able to find $1 million or less property, right? But when you get into like the Northeast, right, or the West Coast or something like this, like it's going to be harder to find $1 million properties in secondary markets. So the first question you're going to ask yourself is where am I? And within like the 2-hour radius, am I in secondary or tertiary markets? That's my question to you. Are you in a secondary or tertiary market? Or do you live in a secondary and you can look out in tertiary? Do you live in a primary and you're going to have to go further out into tertiary? Where are you guys at right now when you look at this map? And where can you find property, right? And then what you want to, so put it down in here so I can see kind of where y'all are at. There's 26 of us. So it's a good little group here. And it's good that y'all are showing up to this. I really appreciate you guys are showing up. I'm telling you, the most important thing is that you show up. I tell this to my students all the time. When you make it a priority, it will happen, right? But if you don't make it a priority, it's not going to happen, right? I was just talking to another student on the phone today because on Mondays I do my coaching calls. I was talking to another student today, and I was telling you, you've got to make this a priority. Like deals do not just fall in your lap. They just don't. You got to get out there and look, and it's not easy. It's not easy, right? Now it gets easier as you start doing. Like for us, like we got like 4 deals that we're working on right now. So the longer that you do this, the easier it gets, right? But the first 1 or 2 it's not easy. I got a couple of people in the coaching group that have they're on their second deal. They're looking for their second one. And they've been looking for their second one for a couple of months now. Like really, like for every 50 calls that you do, 1 person wants to sell. Right? That's how it is. That's our numbers in our group. For every 50 people that you talk to, 1 wants to sell. That's how easy it is. So the question is, how many people, how many owners are you talking to? Because if you're just talking to 1 here and 1 there, it ain't going to work out for you. And then you're going to start getting frustrated and you're going to give up. Right? So that's the question is, are you making this a priority? Okay. So Orlando, Florida is a primary market. You ain't going to find anything for $1 million or less in Orlando, right? So, and probably not even in the secondary market. Okay. So you're going to have to go on the tertiary. In fact, I was in Orlando in March, hanging out for a month, doing my work, running my facilities, and then heading on over to Disney World every other day or whatever, right? Totally doable. And we went driving for storage a couple of times, because I'm like, I'm going to go, if I'm in an area and I'm vacationing, I'm going to go and look for storage facilities, right? So we went out driving for storage and we found so many facilities like outside in the no man's land of Orlando, like in between Orlando and Kennedy Space Center or whatever. Like we were driving all up in there and all in the south, and we found so many storage facilities, random ones we found a couple of them that were abandoned, right? So you have to figure out which market you're in, right? You have to figure out, are you primary, secondary, or tertiary? Where do I live? And within 2 hours of that, is there a secondary market that you can find a property $1 million or less? And if not, you're going to have to go to tertiary. And most of us, if you only want to spend a couple $100,000, you're going to be in the tertiary markets. So that means you're going to have to get on out and get out of your comfort zone and start getting out into the middle of nowhere, right? Have it like somebody that lives in in the Tampa area and is driving around trying to find storage and is getting frustrated because they can't find any storage. I'm like, well, duh, because you have to be in an area where if you don't have a lot of money, then you should be in the tertiary markets. And in Florida, it's hard to find tertiary markets. You got to be in that no man zone, like, south of Orlando or north of Orlando.